Let me just, never been successful doing this. Let's see if I can do it right now. Let me just read to you randomly the stacks. Well, I mean, the stacks all have their basic information, but just the stacks, because I don't even know where to go first. I actually do, but... Okay, cops use mobile scanners to steal cell phone data from innocent Americans. And the system, they admit, hacks your phone. When the cop pulls you over, they've got a machine, and I told you this years ago, it's what the Google trucks do. They're now, under Homeland Security, putting these in to all, well, they've announced they're going to put them into all of the mailmen delivery trucks. I was just politically incorrect. I'm going to say it again, mailman trucks. You don't like that, do you, Sovietizers? I'll say what I want. I don't care if a man or a woman's driving it. I'm going to call it mailman because you don't like it. The mail person truck. There, I behaved myself. The mailman, they're attaching these systems to them to grab your digital data. That came out. Google's doing it all over the world. They are an arm of the NSA. So is AT&T. I told you that years before it was came out. And the system within seconds, because it's built into all the smartphones by federal and international law. It's continuity of agenda worldwide, except for a few rogue countries that are mopping up. And within 2 seconds, the specs report, the phone opens, your emails, your photos, your surfing history. And by the way, it's not just the state police doing this in Michigan. The state police, but limited units are being given the systems through the Threat Fusion, Homeland Security training command bases. As they dole out these systems, I remember 2003, it's in Matrix of Evil. It was in the Green Bay paper that the governor kind of slipped up at a tour of a Threat Fusion Center. And he said, yeah, we can just dial in their social security number or driver's license here and find them in real time via their cell phone with GPS. We can also hit this button and listen to them. And the state police were like, no, governor. I mean, this came out. No, don't. Well, the Austin police can just sit there with the special units they've got. The other slave cops don't know. They haven't been told yet. And they just dial right in, grab your whole phone, totally illegal. They don't care. They got the weapons. State police in Texas have got it. They've got laser couplers that you can't even see unless it's a foggy evening, where they can laser your window, and it gives them unbelievable sound inside your house. It acts as a membrane to then pick up the vibrations in your home. They hit one button, dial into your phone, even when it's on the hook, dial in and listen in your house. That's all been announced. And the cops are actually going after the ACLU for releasing this info. Well, they want $500,000 from them for them releasing it. And the cops, when they pull you over, and they also sit off the side of the road, they just drive by, and they don't have to aim it at you. They just drive by, just like a face scanner or a license plate reader. As you drive by, it's like, doop, starts the download. Doop, starts the download. Doop, starts the download. Oh, I'll take your photos. I'll take your surfing habits. I'll take everything on your phone, your passcodes. It's all mine. It's all mine. See, I said I just read headlines, and I couldn't do it. I read one article. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com, Paul Watson. And by the way, people who think we exaggerate, Paul Watson's article is excellent and more expansive than CNET, AP, and Reuters, but it's nothing. I actually this morning spent about 30 minutes reading the full documents, and this is not cops use mobile scanner to steal cell phone data from innocent Americans. It should be cops use NSA system to hack phones, steal all data. Total Orwell. Drink your fluoride. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. And I just read one of the headlines there. When I come back in the next segment, this is a short one. I'm going to go through these in detail, but let me just start getting into the headlines now. Reverend Al Sharpton joins President Obama's immigration reform effort. That means stirring up the giant army of foreigners that have been taught to hate America to be used as a political weapon for the banksters to make sure the middle class is destroyed. The banksters always have the communist hordes working for them. Continuing here, Libyan rebels will receive $25 million from the U.S., and they're calling it non-lethal aid. Yes, the bombs dropping, the weapons being shipped in by the U.S. and England. Since before this started, the special forces on the ground, lasing targets. It's non-violent, and this is not a war. Arab Spring setbacks in the shadow of complicated U.S.-Saudi alliance. The Saudis are beginning to panic and realize they're being double-crossed. Webster Tarpley's going to break that down for us at the beginning of the next hour. That's just some of the news that we have on that front. France vows to step up airstrikes in Libya because their darling little rebels have been failing now for many, many weeks in their attacks. Also, officials, again, to give Libyan rebels non-lethal aid. There's the actual headline from the Associated Press. Syria lifts emergency law, sets new curbs on protest. The media is decrying it. Financial Times of London says anger as Assad curbs right to protest, but England itself has banned the right to protest unless you get a special permit. And then even when you do, one poor guy at the G20 was trying to deliver newspapers to a 7-Eleven type store, and the cops beat him to death and then covered it up, and then later admitted it. Another key article here from PrisonPlanet.com, Libyan rebels fighting the globalist war. And then something that does irritate me about Islamic countries, I will say is a bad sign, something I don't like about Islam, and this is actually true from my research. Iran is moving to try to ban dogs and harass dog owners. And you know what? I'll keep my dogs. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. The latest enemies of Iran, dogs and their owners. Now, that doesn't mean Iran should be bombed into the Stone Age. The globalists put poison in our water, and the globalists want to sterilize us. The Iranian control freaks just don't want you to have a dog. For much of the past decade, by the way, the communist Chinese don't like it either. They're trying to make Chinese give up their dogs. I guess because Mao Zedong's favorite dish was boiled dog. I'm not joking. The Chinese astronauts, to, quote, keep their energy up, eat dog. Don't believe me, guys? Google Chinese astronauts eat dog to keep their energy up. I believe it's BBC. Shows them eating dog. For much of the past decade, the Iranian government has tolerated what considers a particularly depraved and un-Islamic vice, the keeping of pet dogs. Well, okay. I'll not be joining your club anytime soon. Stay away from my dogs. I wonder what Muslims think about this. I mean, dogs are dirty and evil. Really, all the big studies show the keeping of dogs increases your immune system because it's a zoological buffer, and also relaxes the heart, and it's just a great thing. I'm going to keep my French Bulldog and Chihuahua, and I'm going to hug them, and I'm going to pat them on the head, and they're going to snuggle me while I sit there at the computer. Okay? Period. Not taking them. Sorry. In fact, we'll put it back. And by the way, the communist Chinese, you're not going to eat my dogs either. And folks in Mexico, you're not getting my dogs for taco meat. A dog, oh, believe me, I've been in southern Mexico. You can go to the local grocery stores. They have dogs and cats. Very delicious. Dogs on the menu for Chinese astronauts. China's first man in space has said the Chinese astronauts eat dog meat, to keep the strength up as they orbit around the Earth. London Telegraph. Look how healthy he looks from eating dog. My point about the dog statement is I see the Nazis as having a depraved, wicked culture that I don't want to be part of. I see the Aztecs as having a depraved, wicked culture that I wouldn't want to be part of. But the globalists tell you you're not allowed to make a cultural statement about what culture is superior, or certain areas of a culture are more superior than others. Some cultures are varied, have things I like, things I don't like. But of course you've got to make a moral judgment about a culture. The globalists just don't want you to have a decision or to have a view so they can tell you what to think. Well, I'll keep my 1776 red-blooded, dog-owning, gun-owning, red meat-eating culture, fast cars, you name it. I'll keep it. All right, why am I so upset today? Ahead of Webster Griffin Tarpley joining us, doctor of history and also an economist, Lord Christopher Monckton, peer of the realm, will also be joining us to get into the latest global warming fraud and his standing for the Scottish Parliament. And we've also, of course, got Steve Watson joining us from Britannia as well via video connection from London, New World Order Command Base Central. And I'm going to be breaking down the latest incredible admissions of the ongoing intensification of the ground buildup and offensive in eastern Libya against Muammar Gaddafi, the individual dumb enough to make a deal with the globalists 6 years ago to be friendly. That was just so they could get their spies in place for what's now happening. The mainstream media admitting that the West has orchestrated the entire Arab Spring. The Saudi Arabians have figured this out and are freaking out and cutting oil production in a desperate gambit to try to get the globalists to back off. The globalists could care less and love the destabilization. They're ruthless, they're cunning, they're evil, and if you won't wake up and grow up, folks, you're defenseless against them. The minute you call them on being a bunch of sociopathic, blood-sucking, parasitical worms in fancy suits reading off teleprompters, it's game over for the scum. When you learn to love your country and hate your government, as Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and, well, Andrew Jackson, as soon as you rediscover common sense, as soon as you rediscover liberty and freedom, as soon as you rediscovered red-blooded behavior, all the scum, all the perching vultures of the nanny state control freakdom prison political correct grid become, in your eyes, the little chicken-necked, 2-inch tall, weak, pus-filled maggot droppings that they are. The minute you see these pus-filled, carpet-bagging, global ring race for what they are, you can just brush them aside. But right now they're trying to break your will all over the country, banning dodgeball, tag, capture the flag, softball. Government's now coming into softball leagues saying it's too dangerous, you can't do it. They're now coming in saying you got to have special federal, state-approved licensing to have a swim team. Just you've got to have a special federal license to own cows, or to have your own property, or to raise chickens, or to have a garden in your backyard. You've got to have city inspections. Amish have got to be raided. People selling tomatoes on the roadside. SWAT teams undercover, hitting them hard. Little girls can't sell lemonade on the street corner. Girl Scouts can't sell them door to door. All over the country. Parents can't pack lunches for their parents. Parents can't pack lunches for their parents. Parents can't pack lunches for their children. It's all about breaking your will and just absurdly running over you. But the control freaks, the scientific criminal engineers, know exactly what they're doing. That's why they talk with lisping, calm NPR voices to soothe you, like the snake in the Jungle Book who talks very sweetly and quietly and tries to hypnotize you while his eyes swirl. I remember when I first really woke up to this when I went to a Smart Growth conference in 1997 in Austin. And I know Mike Hanson's got those videos from the old TV show. He's got to dig those out and get it up on his YouTube archive channel. It's most of the really powerful stuff hadn't been uploaded yet, or I don't know if they can find it. But I go to that event, and it's thousands of city council people, mayors from all over the country, banking heads, former Dallas Cowboys, you know, all these people, and they're up there on the podiums at the Austin Convention Center saying, this is a business. We're going to raise carbon taxes. We're going to take people's property. Only the insiders are going to have access to the property. And it's going to be awesome. And I would go to them, and Michael Dell was there. I talked to him. There's an interview with Michael Dell of Dell Computer. And I said, this is a scam. This is a fraud. They would all laugh at me and arrogantly say, you bet it is. And the Dallas Cowboy got in my face and shoved me out of the way. And it was just a group of hardcore, savage people that knew exactly what they were doing with Agenda 21. And it was a ship of hardcore pirates, high-fiving, laughing. It was not about bunnies and bees and flowers and the earth. It was, we're coming in, we've got control, we're taking over this nation. And they had the heads of 3 of the big 6 banks up there admitting, I mean, it was like that scene in They Live where they go underground and the aliens that are cloaked as humans are saying, welcome, human power elite. In only one short decade, we've consolidated power and bankrupted most of the slaves, and we're taking over. Good job, the human power elite. I mean, I was at this meeting, I got footage of them, and I was like, whoa, they know what they're doing. Well, of course they did when they go out to some 2,000-acre ranch, jack the taxes up, force them to sell for pennies on the dollar. 2 years later, take the environmental regs off, build shopping malls on it. I mean, they got former mayors who own the banks that only the money can go through. I mean, it's just so hardcore. ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?